Hi, I'm Lacey, the High Priestess, and this is for Gemini and Sagittarius reading. If you have these placements, this is for you. I'm Lacey, the High Priestess, and you can find me on Lacey, the High Priestess on TikTok for my other readings. You can find me on Lacey's World on TikTok for my other talents. Lacey, the High Priestess 2 por TikTok y YouTube Español para mi gente latina. Lacey, the High Priestess 86 on IG. And YouTube, press like, subscribe, notification. With the notification bell, you can get my lives. If not, you'll have to wait 12 hours. Okay. I tell unique stories that will not resonate with everyone. So if you like a unique story and the one you want to watch, throughout the story, I tell general and I channel. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. 8 of Wands. All right, so this is Sagittarius energy, but also Gemini. The Wands is Sagittarius. The 8 of Wands is Gemini energy. So someone definitely has this combo on here. Also, someone could have the darts, throwing darts. Also, this reminds me of when you put the rubber band back and you shoot it out. You're trying to get the right shooting range. Also, something is going in circles like that. You can tell by the wind. The wind is blowing hard. Someone's on top of a cliff or something like that. If this is a sniper, wind is everything. Or the direction of the wind, that's everything, logically. So it does affect your shooting range. Wind can also lift you. It's like if you're jumping off a cliff and the wind is blowing hard, you might end up, you're not going to go straight down. The wind might blow you to a different direction. This reminds me of, there's an extreme sport that people, I don't know what it's called, but like they get wings. It's like a parachute and they have to jump off of a cliff in order for, the wind is very important. Also, air balloons are very important. The wind affects the air balloons. The wind affect the parachute. Wind bender. But this could also be fire. The fire gets bigger with more wind. A doctor. The owl, the wise, the alien. Oh, now we're getting into topics I like. The whisper of the owl, the wise. Some people go onto the highest mountain so they can hear the whisper of the wise. I also believe an owl appears on someone. This reminds me of like the Navajos or like New Mexico, the Indians that go onto the highest cliff and they have a talk with their ancestors. There's a gust of wind that gives someone confirmation on a question that, I believe this is a shaman. A shaman is bending air, is bending fire. Their ancestors are here to protect them. I also feel like if you're standing on this cliff or on this mountain or whatever, the wind is gusting around you in a circle. There is an owl speaking to you. The owl is an ancestor and is telling you things as the wind is going all around. And again, these are unique stories. They will not resonate with everyone. A unique story is a person's story, but a story can stay in your mind forever and teach you something. It's for example, a teacher that's teaching you geography or mathematics. Depending on how they teach it to you, it will stay engraved in your mind forever. And you never know when you might need to dip into that lane of memories that you have to remember a certain science or a certain story that puts you in the place in that position where you're like, whoa, I remember when so and so taught me this. The Hermit and the Four of Wands. I really enjoy my class. Also, you enjoy hanging around with this doctor, this shaman, because they know a way to balance spirituality and logic. Spirituality and logic, what's real and what's not. Also, the yin and yang. You know, I was watching a video the other day with Rosalia and this other girl, and they were standing face to face. Do you know in karate? There's certain motions that help you retain certain air even as you breathe. When you're working out, do you know you have to do certain breathing techniques as well as if you're giving labor? They say that you feel the pain less if you focus on your breathing. So while you're going into the climax of giving birth to a child, someone's in your ear telling you, let go. Don't focus on the pain, focus on your breathing. Now breathe in. So the contraction is getting higher and higher. Okay, so you're going to take a deep breath. And then you release the pain through the contractions of your muscles of every being. You're bringing it out into life. Also, a form of therapy that a lot of people have is screaming into the pillow. Screaming, going into a mountain where nobody can hear you or a hill. You're all by yourself. And all the things you want to speak of piled up in emotion in a ball in the deep of your gut. And you're like, ah! Also, there's a story on Netflix. It's a bunch of mini stories, and there's a woman that she's made out of gold. She's made out of gold, and the way that she seduces her men is by her voice. She brings out melodies in her voice that attracts these men into the water. And once they get into the water, she does a deafening scream. Ah! And their ears start to burst with blood and all kinds of stuff. And there was one soldier that was deaf. He couldn't hear her screams, and she was bewildered. She was like, how come all these men, they fell for my trance but not you? And she started to fall in love with the deaf man. But the deaf man was still on the same mission as the other men. He was just a little bit more slower. I think that's what gave him a gift. He didn't focus on the noise. He focused on what he could see right in front of him. So truly to him, if he was deaf, he could not hear no spiritual guides. He couldn't hear nobody talking to him. So really in reality, he is his own master, his own spiritual guide. He is his own voice, and nobody's manipulating him to do thy will. It's his will, not their will. The hermit, he's not like these people who get the same anointing. It's different. This is special. Also, blind people, they may not have the gift of sight, but they do got the gift of sight, if you understand me. They can smell you, they can sense you, they can taste you. They learn how to live off their other five senses. A lot more alert than someone that has all six. For example, when a snake is prowling through the grass, their eyes are meant to see you. I believe if they see blood or they see a human or something like that, something that's warm blooded, they see just the motion of red is just motion censored, and their tongue can taste your blood, can taste your pheromones, can your chemistry of your body. They can by the but whatever information their tongue gets, it can activate that they just seen the prey. Anyways, going back to bending wind, I was watching Rosalia, and they're like this because if you noticed, like Bruce Lee's a Sagittarius, by the way. His birthday was last week. God rest his soul. And you know what's so funny? A lot of people were saying, we could tell why Bruce Lee was always angry. He was drinking off that Hennessy. Now, if y'all ever hang out with the Asians, Remy and Hennessy, that's their shit, and they love vodka. They love their vodka. Well, maybe just the Asians I've been around. Maybe other people have, but the Asians I've been around, vodka, Hennessy, and Remy, VSOP. Anyways, there's these little shows or whatever, these cartoons. There's certain stances that people do. For example, they have like the paramantis. But see, the paramantis, when it uses it creates a certain spin. You see the wind, and look at my shadow, the paramantis. And it's certain positions help you obtain wind. Therefore, around you, you're creating a certain atmosphere. So when you're going with your hand going like this, you're literally spinning air into your hands. And then, they do the extra shit because there's so much power into your hands. If someone was coming at you and they're trying to fuck up your vision while they're trying to attack you, so you're moving your hands like this, and then you poke them in there, right here. Grab their neck and take it. Now, I don't do kung fu or karate or none of that, but I do watch my movies. No, I know a lot of people. I tend to be around a lot of athletes of different backgrounds, and also the things that I have seen. But science is big. It's building momentum, like the wheel. It's sitting down, but once it starts going and going and going and going, and then you can still see me, but look, there's something in between. And now the air that I circulated is going that way. It's pushing out that way. Circulating, pushing out that way. When you're catching momentum, when you're about to do a flip, when you're about to do a spin and you have to do a certain crouch so you can get the spin correctly. Define science. And if people aren't smart enough to have had that education to know that it's all science, they would think that spirituality, that is something spiritual that's happening to them. That gust of wind could be just coming from a windmill across the street or something like that. Or it's the gust of wind that's happening from the AC turning on and creating motion through the house. See, people who are into paranormal activity things and stuff like that, they use science to see if whatever happened was really a super paranormal activity or event or whatnot, or was it something logical science. There was, the noise that was made, maybe that was a car driving by, blah blah blah. the Knight of Wands, and the Hierophant. Because first we got to prove that something very magical did happen there. But in order to prove that, we have to think logical and we have to cross out the other what's the word? You have to cross out things that it could possibly be before we define this a supernatural event or a supernatural phenomenon or whatever. Science is very important, and science does play a big part in our life every single day. So let's not take science for granted now. It can teach you a lot. It can make you seem like you really are something like out of this world when really you're just smarter than others. Shout out to science.